you can see like 3 roaches in a row general.
Maybe that's what we think more about the IO then. Like, can they actually get the fights before the fights even happen with the relocate into gank?
For battle.
And that way you
Who's ganking for them? I guess
fight?
Tree has it, but it's
Tree will give you the vision. Yeah, like, who do you actually gank against? And potentially then you can have it turned around by the Kunkka. You think you're leaving, and then your X marks the spot up, and you come straight back again.
One thing is, though, that IG do not have a good way to access the backline, and most importantly, they need to kill the Ursa, so the Sven is much less of a problem. So I don't exactly know how they're going to do that yet. Maybe like a Shadow Blade, Shadow Fiend again. Maybe an Ursa with a Blink Dagger can potentially go to the backline. There are some options, but it is going to be difficult for the Ursa this game. He's going to get kited nonstop.
Oh, sorry, that jig from the Kunkka is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, I had no idea what that was.
I feel like drinking and having a shanty right now as Kunkka is just walking around the map taunting. He already got himself an aggressive observer ward on the bottom lanes. They want to know whenever Treant's going to come over, whenever there's going to be any kind of real aggression against the safe laner. And maybe that's why they're still tossing up where they put Burning. In fact, they're pushing Burning to the north lane, and XXS is moving down to the bottom. Now, I'm kind of surprised at this, mainly because of the block that we saw the Earthshaker do last time. It was really easy and really quick levels for him. And they're still happy to give that up. He'll miss the first lane.
He'll also have skilled up Fissure. Normally in a one-on-one, you don't actually want Fissure. You want Enchant.
Can he even one-on-one? Like, I know, like, we talked about Earthshaker winning up against like an Ember Spirit, but up against an SK? Do you win a 1v1 matchup up against a Sand King?
It's pretty poor, but manageable. I think with Solo there, he is going to get destroyed though.
Yeah. And Solo's already just saying exactly where he is. Punches him once. The Earthshaker continues to move to the bottom.
That lane is so far
Burning up against Ramses on the top. Even though Lil, for interesting reasons, is tethered towards a range creep, as opposed to on top of Ramses.
Maybe...
Well, the range creep was attacking Burning at the time. Do you actually get more damage out of that? Like, more effectiveness out of tethering a range creep, which is attacking the core on the lane?
Well, it's better than Sven not hitting anyone.
Well,
XSS having a little bit of a difficult time, just forced a Fissure for some range creep. Solo still causing a heck of a lot of problems. So they need this top lane to work out. IG, they need to be able to deal with that guy a little bit, or else Tree is going to bully him. Okay, so now they've finally brought enough pressure so that Tree is forced to rotate, and now XSS can finally have his one-on-one.
He actually had an opportunity as well. If he wanted to throw out the Fissure, he could have cancelled the TP.
He's probably like, I want my own farm. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, do I really want to keep this guy down here? But the aggro tri-lane from IG is really trying to hit the mark, so Bobica has to hit the Torrent. There's no other way around it, and he's going to do so. Gets behind Ramses, but all it does is give him space, and they're already switching lanes. XSS now moves towards the top lane, Ursa moves towards the south lane. Was this the plan all along, to get the Earthshaker back up on top lane and just to have the better lane switch? The mind game of the mind game?
It seems that way, but
gold for my chest.
Ursa does much better versus the Sand King, I would say, than the Shaker. And I think it's more important that they realize they can't kill the Sven up top, and Io's in too good of a position, so there's no chance that they can really do anything on that top lane.
He's doing it again. This is going to be one of the easiest pulls I've ever seen to do. Like, an easy Fissure block, pull over, and because of the double stack, he can deny the entire creep wave. And this is going to really start to mess up Ramses' farm once more. Like, he's 9-2 on the Sven. That's fantastic for him, but if he gets entire waves deleted,
it's not as bad as last game. Last game, he was a life stealer who can't really stack and farm. I think Io can stack up multiple camps at once, and Sven's much better at taking stacks. So they will move the Io down to the bottom lane to threaten this Ursa a little bit more. Pasha is...
There's the Barrow Strike. And he just wants to clamp and keep the Sand King away from him. Able to do so, gets back behind the tower, now will burn off the south. So VP, interesting fun times being had on both the side lanes as Q gets just pushed away by actually with the orb. he doesn't have Icarus Dive. With a tether forward, I think Solo might be able to actually claim first blood here. No, the sprites are out. One more. He's got to stop the fist, but it won't stop. Solo gets the first blood underneath the tier 2 tower on the bottom lane. But it's the mid where OP really needs something to work for him. A long-range race doesn't have the mana for it or have it off cooldown. So Bobica won't catch Lina, but it's 22-7 against 8-3. OP has been shut out of the CS in the mid lane.
It's a long way back for the Lina to run, but this Wisp Treant is not going to be enough.
That's very deep under the tower. Luckily for them, there's no X marks the spot for Bobica, so they can't force VP to stay engaged.
You can see how troublesome this duo is. You have double heal, Treant needs to be able to punch people and run people down, and the double slow even is very, very annoying. Yeah, as you mentioned, Lina is destroying OP.
Yeah, this is... You talk about like those recoveries, like Ramses can play recovery if his CS isn't great. He's 14-4. The SF now needs to do that, like the exact same thing. Get in there, recover, flash farm up with the razors, get back into the jungle. And maybe that's when we start to wonder how deep VP's vision's going to go inside the Radiant jungle. Do you actually get in there and block up the camps? Stop OP's recovery?
Seems that way. They're already doing pretty well in terms of gold. This is before stacking and farming comes out from Ramses. Ramses not really showing any signs of what he wants to build just yet.
Solo, lead seed. He won't be able to get the root because he's moved so far out of the range of the trees and the fissure block. It doesn't actually block Q. No Sunray available. He's got Icarus Dive and Sprite trying to slow down the attack of Ramses as well as Solo, and it will be successful now.
Right on the 5-minute mark. Time to hit the shrine. Come here, fire friend. Come here.
See, that's the other question. What element is shrine? Is it technically water? And what happens when you put water on a phoenix?
You extinguish his flames, but he is rebirthed once again.
That's always an elemental answer from you.
I'm all about that elemental lore.
Yeah. There's so many elemental things that are broken. We're just making excuses for Dota now. Bobica rotating in towards the mid lane. He does have a 2-0-1 build up at the moment. So X marks the spot, range is pretty poor. Tether forward. Ramses, he wanted the Stormbolt. The lead seat trying to bring him in range. Phoenix, does he really want to do anything? Not going to reveal his position until this. The fissure, but a little too late on both the Torrent as well as the Sprites.
Doesn't matter. If you can't get Weston, you're not going to kill anyone. You're talking about like double heal from Leech Seed. That is so hard. And then he can also pop Warcry if they want to start right-clicking.
Oh, Stormbolt. XSS just walks straight into it. Can he get the fissure off? The totem stun into a double fissure, but the spirits from Lil. Way too much damage for the Earthshaker to survive.
Doesn't seem like they know how to play versus Wisp very well at all. Like, they constantly just waste spells on Wisp partners, and Wisp is more than happy to take some of the harass and then heal both of them up. And they've gotten past the tough part of the game, I would say, in terms of the laning swaps, but both heroes almost on bottom. Pasha will just use up the shrine while Burning will foot it back home. But all three lanes are going very, very well for Virtus.Pro.
I'm actually more interested, like, why XSS kind of abandoned his fissure block pull. Like, there was enough he can keep denying up the waves instead of he's giving the farm over to Q.
They were stacking and pulling just like this. They were denying him farm as well.
So they had to come up and engage.
Yeah, because you're getting like multiple pool camps out of the Dire side, whereas you're only getting one pool camp, and that only respawns every minute. Whereas Sven, yeah, you're much more worried about Dire side playing greedily.
Well, because the Earthshaker is so close, and because he goes for the Soul Ring build consistently instead of like any kind of Blink Dagger, the fissure spam is allowing him just to either snipe creeps or interrupt VP's pulls. Bottom lane's been having a good time as well for Burning. Whenever he can go for an opportunity with that actual Torrent. X marks spot. Pasha knows he can't just Burrow Strike away. Orcus is on cooldown for 1 second. They pull him straight back into the fight.
Very nice skill. And Ursa is committing to more early items too. He does have the Raindrop and the early Orb of Venom. So I do like this because you do need to win your lane first before you can proceed to other parts of the map. And Ursa should dominate most one-on-one matchups.
Radiant structures.
It looks like OP lucked out a little bit, getting the regeneration rune in the bottom. No one pounding away on that mid tower with the double damage, and OP will be forced to defend this wave. No Requiem up, so no big Requiem play right there with the Invis.
XSS is trying to bait Ramses into a fight on top of the big camp that was there. He's got his Echo Slam available, and Ramses would have... He would survive it, but he'd be licking his wound shortly after.
And XSS would all get that precious, precious gold.
I still can't believe also the CS difference. Like, it wasn't just the mid lane. Like, the bottom lane burning at 26-5 against a 55-20 Sand King.
He had that early start. I believe he was probably level 3 when Burning was level 1. And that difference is very hard to overcome as a melee hero, even though Ursa does have the upper hand in most matches. I'm not sure about this one in particular, probably not, because Caustic wrecks him. Yeah, well, see a smoke going down on bottom. Lil and Solo placing some wards, making sure the SF can't farm, and making sure they have eyes on Ursa is very important. They do not let him sneak Roche, especially with how far behind he is in this early game creep score.
Yeah, that's going to be their catch-up mechanic. But because the mid lane SF's already backed out,
Radiant's
no one again is able to pepper into the T1 tower. There's no fortification protected this time around, and Bobika caught inside the jungle. Pash is making his way over, doesn't have a blink dagger, so cannot close the distance between himself